Good
Nervios.
afternoon. Hey, everybody. How are you doing?
Hey, hello everyone. It caught me off guard. It was
Hi.
You aren't paying attention.
Hi Agus, can you hear me correctly?
I can.
I
Can you?
can.
Oh, wait.
Hello. Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining in this new icebreaker conversation. We have today a very dear colleague, Kata Marchesi. Hi Kati, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you very well, Lou.
Okay, great. I have a little bit of breakup, but if you can hear me okay, then that's okay, I guess.
That's
So
okay.
today we have my ultimate favorite of all topics, which is orcas, the greatest top predator of the ocean. And without further ado, I would love Kata to start with a great presentation that she prepared for us today. So, Kata, on to you.
Perfect. Well, yes, orcas. I think that we all love these animals. Some people may call them killer whales, but I prefer not to do that. For once, because they are not killers, they are predators. They kill to eat, they hunt to eat. They just don't kill for fun like killers do. And for biologists, they are not actually whales. Yeah, whales for us they have baleen in their mouth, and orcas have teeth. Yeah, so they are actually cosmopolitan super dolphins. It's the largest dolphin species in the world, and it's the second most widely spread mammal in the world. Yeah, the first ones are rats, and we all know who's to blame for that. Yeah, but orcas have naturally spread across every basin, ocean basin. Yeah, they occupy every ocean and even the Southern Ocean and the Antarctic waters. But despite being considered only one species, so far scientists have distinguished up to or more than 16 different ecotypes. What is an ecotype? It's an ecological type. These ecotypes, they look different, they eat different things, and we are going to see which ecotypes we can find if we go to Antarctica.
Nice.
A few years ago, some researchers wanted to know how closely related were these different ecotypes. So they took skin samples for DNA and they analyzed their DNA and imagine each of these dots in the graph. It's a different population or a different ecotype, and the closer the dots, the more similar those types are. So, and we can see here in the right bottom part of the graphic that we have orcas from the Southern Ocean and from the Antarctic Peninsula that are close to those from the Crozet Islands and southwestern Australia. And they found a completely distinct group of orcas. You will see B1, B2, C. Those are the true Antarctic orcas. Yes, they are completely different at DNA level, but as we don't have enough DNA samples, they are still not considered a different species, but they are different ecotypes.
Kata, and
Yes.
this would mean that if for some reason one orca of those bee would travel a lot and cross with another orca from another place, they could have babies. They could have descendants.
They we suppose that they could, they just don't want to. They avoid interbreeding.
Hmm.
They do not mix with different ecotypes.
Okay, but
They are a
genetically
little.
they could. But genetically they could. They're not. We do not consider them different species in that.
Not yet. No, not yet. No.
That's amazing. It's really cool to think that that other things that don't have to do with genes could actually make you another species. I think that's really awesome.
Yes, but these particular Antarctic types, they have been separated for so long and completely isolated from other orca populations that they are completely different at DNA level, always within the same species.
Right.
Yeah. So in Antarctica or around Antarctica in the Southern Ocean, we could find up to 5 different ecotypes. Here in the drawing, we have the males on the left and the females on the right. So you can see that males and females are different for this species. Males tend to be larger. They tend to have larger flippers, and taller dorsal fins, which in some types of orcas can reach up to 1.8 meters high. So they can be really, really tall dorsal fins. So these 5 different ecotypes, they look different. So when you look at them, they look different. They eat different things. They catch their prey in different ways. And they have different acoustic behaviors. What's that? They have different dialects. Imagine an English speaker from the UK and an English speaker from the US. They both speak English, but it's a completely different type of English. Yeah, and you can tell that by just listening to them. The same happens with orcas. Even though they speak the same language, their dialects change depending on their ecotype. And as we said before, even though in some cases they occupy the same areas, they do not breed with each other. They do not reproduce between different ecotypes. So as I said, they eat different things. So the type A killer whales or orcas, they feed on baleen whales. They catch minke whales, young sei whales, young fin whales, that they hunt as a pack of wolves, because they get organized and they will chase the whale, taking turns not to get too tired. And they start jumping on top of the whale until the whale drowns. Yeah, their aim, their goal is to drown the whale. Then we have the large form of the type B, or pack ice killer whales. And these animals, they eat seals. If you ever saw the documentary Frozen Planet by the BBC, in one of the episodes, they show the hunting strategy. So these orcas will locate a seal on top of an ice floe. They will get organized among themselves and they will create a wave to wash the seal away from the ice floe. And then the chase starts. The third type of Antarctic orcas, it's the small form of the type B, the type B2, or the garlac orca. And these orcas, they feed on penguins. Yeah. We have a little video. I don't know, Agus, if you can play it, or maybe at the end, whatever you prefer. Yeah. We have a little video that was recorded on top of, on board of cruise ship. Yeah. We were leaving an area, the ship was moving, and suddenly a group of orca came close, and we saw a little penguin trying to hide in between the propellers of the ship. The video, it's on loop, so you will start seeing it again. And at the beginning, you can see how the penguin jumps out of the water. Yeah. And what we saw, what they were doing was actually they were not hunting properly, although they may have at the end of the video. Yeah, there it is.
Yes. The canopy.
A canopy. Yeah, imagine how many penguins they have to eat.
That was actually, I wanted to ask you that. I love how we're smiling when we see this video. This is absolutely amazing. But then at the same time, we're making them infamous because everybody loves penguins, everybody loves seals. But I always vouch for the orcas. I know.
Yes. Orcas also have pups. So penguins have chicks, orcas have pups, and it's the law of the jungle, right? So the larger animals, these animals in particular, they are top predators. And what it's amazing, it's that they kill only what they eat. So they will not kill for fun like humans do. Yeah. Orcas or animals in general, wild animals, they will kill only when they have to eat. So we should consider that it's not that they don't have feelings. It's they have to survive and they have to feed their calves. In this instance, what they were doing was actually training their pups, because orcas, every orca population in the world, they have culture. So they teach their hunting strategies from the older generation to the following generation. The older animals train, they teach their pups how to catch their prey. Yeah. And in this case, what we saw was that the larger animals were herding or pushing the penguin towards the smaller animals in an attempt for them to start practicing how to pursue and how to catch a penguin. We ended up leaving, and they ended up most likely catching the penguin. But we have seen this also with sea lions and with humpback whales. The same type of orcas, even though they do not feed on sea lions or whales, sometimes they harass these species just to train their calves. And then when they get bored, they go away. That could be a little bit cruel.
And
But
Kata,
well,
have you ever read? I haven't. Like how many penguins they would feed on a day, or?
I'm not yet. I don't think that there is a calculation of how many penguins they need to eat, but I'm sure that there are a lot of penguins that they need to eat, because these animals may weigh up to what, tons, like thousands of kilos, and penguins are really small creatures. So yeah, I will say that a lot of penguins, but I don't have a precise number for
No,
you, Lou.
no, I was. I've never saw a number, but I can only figure out.
Well, there
No,
are lots of penguins anyway, so
yes,
I
yes. And
mean,
this is natural selection, right? So there are too many penguins, and someone has to regulate their population. Also, we should
yeah,
consider.
Go orcas and leopard seals. Team orca and leopard seals.
well, yeah. I mean, on behalf of the penguins, I should say, they also the gulls would prey on eggs if they can too, if they can do. There's no sheathbill will
Chief
be,
Bills, yes.
harassing them
Giant
and
petrels.
stressing the parents, and then the skuas, and I mean, there's a lot of wildlife around that feeds on penguins, but
Yeah,
that's because there's a lot of penguins, and that's their strategy, I guess. So it's
yeah.
it's it's a balanced system.
That's the nature, right?
Yeah,
Some will survive and some won't.
yeah,
Um,
very very
so
true.
what's
Yeah.
what's amazing with this type of orcas? It's this particular the type B orcas, and now the type C that we are going to see now. They were described in 2012 and 2014. So before that, we didn't know that they were different ecotypes. So this is quite recent for biology. Yeah, in science, something that happened 10 years ago, it's quite recent. Yeah. So, no. And now we have type C orcas or Ross C orcas. In my opinion, the most beautiful of the ecotypes, just because they have like an eyebrow painted. So the eye patch, this little white patch on top of
Brush.
the eye, it's like, yes, it's like a paintbrush. It has been done by a paintbrush.
Yeah.
So they live in the Ross Sea, and they live all year round among the ice, and they feed on deep sea fish. Yeah. Recently, I saw a new paper on the species that they feed, and one of the main species that they feed on, it's the Antarctic toothfish. Yeah, but that's among other prey.
So
Bueno, same
sorry,
question.
Kata. Just sorry.
Yeah,
What?
no,
Just
please.
to going back to the different ecotypes. So
Yes.
there is two things that we could, as humans, without taking a sample, get to know they are different ecotypes. One is the eye patch, the other one is
Yes.
the dialect,
The dialect, yes, we are not
which you
going to be
recorded, of
able
course.
to hear that, but we could also look at their backs. In their backs, I'm going to go back a little bit. I think this is the next one. In their backs, orcas type B and the both type Bs have what it's called a dorsal cape. So they are darker in the middle of the back, and the flanks are kind of grayish. They are not completely black and white. Yeah, so that's what we could see. Also, the B types have much larger eye patches than other types of orcas, as you can see in this picture. So we were with type C, most beautiful ones. The type D was the last one to be described. Yeah, it was described in the late, close to the 2020. And recently there was a paper on distribution and DNA structure. As you can see, these type of orcas, they have a tiny, tiny eye patch compared to other types of orcas. They also have a more bulbous head. It's rounder than in other types of orcas. And we first, or people, humans, we first knew this ecotype in 1955 based on a mass stranding in New Zealand. But at that moment, they didn't know that it was a different ecotypes. They just saw orcas. In the early 2000s, a technician from the museum in New Zealand was digitizing the pictures of that mass stranding. And they said, okay, but these are not just regular orcas. They look different. And that's when they found out that there was a different ecotype. They are subantarctic, so they are found circumpolar around Antarctica, all around Antarctica. And of course, that the greatest number of sightings come from this area, the Drake Passage, but that's also related with the amount of ship traffic in the area, because that's the route mostly taken by tourist cruise ships going to the Antarctic Peninsula. So as you have more effort or more ships cruising that area, you will see more orcas, or you will see them more often. And I was just talking with Aus and Luciana and telling them that just a couple of weeks ago, there was a mass stranding of this ecotype in Tierra del Fuego, in a place that it's called Bahía San Sebastián, in which they found 26 of these ecotype of orcas stranded in that area. Bahía San Sebastián, San
That's an
Sebastián Bay.
awful lot. That's like a whole pod.
Yes, we are assuming it's a whole pod. Still no causes from that for that mass stranding, and it's sometimes really difficult to know the actual cause of a
Right.
mass stranding. We have
In
many
general,
hypotheses, but
mhm. Right. In general, that's a question I think we are all popped when we are in cruises. Why do cetaceans in general strand, right? And we still don't know. And particularly for orcas, mass strandings are extremely
yes,
correct.
and actually, this is the only ecotype that has been seen in mass strandings
Mm.
or such large mass strandings. The other ecotypes do not strand in mass. You may see a mother and a calf, but not a whole pod
A whole
of
pod.
orcas. So we don't know why these particular ecotypes, it's the third mass stranding that we have record of. The first one was in New Zealand. The second one was in the Magellan Strait, like 10 years ago. And the third one was this just a couple weeks ago in Tierra del Fuego. So we still don't know what causes this. So if you ever go to Antarctica and you're lucky enough to see orcas, because to see orcas in Antarctica, you have to be lucky. They are not easily seen, mostly because they hear the ships from far away, and you will see orcas if they want to be seen.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they will go away and you will never know that they were there. So
it's
if
like
you're
polar
lucky,
bears.
yeah, yes. If you're lucky enough to see them, you may see that they look yellowish. And that's because on their, on their skin, they get diatoms, little algae, unicellular algae, only one cell algae that live attached to the skin of these large dolphins. Yeah, that's why they look yellowish. And what was most surprising was that sometimes we saw the same animal completely yellow, and sometimes we saw it completely clean, yeah, or brand new. And that drove scientists to start placing satellite tags on them and trying to find out what was happening with these orcas the rest of the year, because we saw them during the summer, Antarctic summer. But what do they do the rest of the year? Where do they go? Do
They go
they go
take a
somewhere?
shower. They go take a shower real quick, like we do.
Yes, more or less, yes. What they found out was that all the Antarctic types of orcas, they leave Antarctica at some point of the year, particularly early fall, March, April, and they travel north. The type B and type C orcas, they travel north for up to 3 weeks. So they travel north, straight north. They stop close to Brazil in the case of the type B, and in the case of type C orcas, they go to New Zealand. Not because it's more BIP, but because the Ross Sea, it's right below, right south from New Zealand. So going straight north, it takes them to New Zealand, and they stay there for a couple of weeks. And when they go back to Antarctica, they are brand new. What they notice is that when they are in Antarctica, they look, in some cases, they look not only yellowish, but they look as if they were sick. The skin looked funny. And when they go back, the skin, it's completely new. What they believe is that these migrations or these trips have to do with changing their skin, with molting their skin. So all mammals, including us, we change, renew our skin. In our case, that's a continuous process and we cannot see it. We are constantly living dead skin cells everywhere and replacing them. But to do that, you need a lot of blood close to your skin. And if orcas send a lot of blood to their skin, when they are surrounded by cold water, they will lose heat, which will be energetically too expensive. So what do? They travel north to warm waters. They renew their whole skin all together in the lapse of 2 or 3 weeks, and then they go back to Antarctica, which was amazing because
Wow.
not many mammals do this. Yeah.
That's incredible. Like the energy cost, just to think that you have swimming all that is worth changing.
Look at this. They swim like around 2,000 kilometers
Yeah,
going and coming
one
back
way
to
and then
Antarctica.
back 2000. I mean, it's
Yeah,
one way 2000. Yeah,
it's
it's a lot. It's
it's a
amazing.
really long distance. Yeah. And for type B and type C, this will take approximately a week and a half to get
Commuting,
2,000
Nothing.
kilometers north,
Nothing.
which
just
is,
commuting.
it's incredible,
Yeah,
right? Because so the speed that they can reach, it's amazing. Well, these are actually the fastest dolphins on earth, so no wonder how they could get that fast. But with type A orcas, what they saw was that Actually, type A orcas are not exclusively Antarctic. They go to Antarctica during the summer and they hunt whales down there during the summer months, but the rest of the year they can travel across the South Pacific Ocean or the South Atlantic Ocean, and they will stop to feed during their traveling. Yeah, the other type of orcas, they do not feed when they are traveling north or when they are coming back south. So they go on a strict diet, they feed before and they will feed after, but when they are traveling north, molting and going back, they do not feed, which is amazing also. And yes, type A orcas, they will or they can be found around the South Pacific Ocean or the South Atlantic Ocean during the rest of the year, and they will feed along the way. Yeah. And to finish up, what I put together, it's a little map. This is an approximation. I want you, I want it to be clear. This is an approximation to show the hotspot for orcas in Antarctica. So if you ever go to Antarctica, you will most likely go to this area, which is the Garlach Strait. And if you look at the numbers 2, 3, and 4, that's the place where you have the greatest chances of encountering orcas. That doesn't mean that you are going to see them. It's just that you have greater chances. And in other places of Antarctica, you have chances because they are around, but we don't know, or yes, maybe because this area has the greatest concentration of penguin colonies. So this area has the greatest chances of seeing orcas in Antarctica. So if you happen to go to Antarctica and you know that you are in the area, go to the outer decks and be on the look for orcas because they may be around. Yeah.
Yeah, and many so many times we've seen just a glimpse of them, and it's we can't even let the guests know because it's impossible. They are there and gone. So
Yes.
your advice is absolutely the best. Always looking outside, sitting, having a coffee in your cabin, on the bridge, whatever you are, looking outside because everything's there. You just need to
Yeah.
be looking at it.
And the rule with with wildlife in general, but with orcas in particular, if you can try to get closer with the ship, but if they don't want to interact, they will disappear
Yeah.
and you will not see them again. So it's always up to the orcas. Yeah, it doesn't matter how good the captain is, how good the officers are. If the orcas do not want to interact with the ship, they will not do it. So it's always up to wildlife.
Right.
Hmm. And
And
there's always a limit in how much you can approach, anyways. I mean, there's a
Yes,
limit, and
yes,
then
of
the
course.
animal decides what to do. So
Yes,
for
of
sure,
course,
yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Hmm. Awesome.
Okay.
I
I put together the references just in case someone wants to look these papers. These are
Mhm.
all research papers. But yeah, I'm open for questions if we have
Yeah,
time.
that's so awesome. And I love that you're using your photos, and your photos are amazing.
Thank you.
Very, very nice. I was gonna, it slipped my mind. I was gonna ask you something about the diatoms. Oh, right, that this last trip but in the Arctic, not in Antarctica, we saw orcas and we saw two calves, and the calves were very, very yellow. Does that have to do with diatoms as well, or just has to do with the coloration that calves have when they're born?
Yes, no, naturally, calves are yellowish when they
Yellowish.
are born and they start turning black and white as they grow older. So the younger the calf, the more yellowish it will be,
Mhm.
and they will lose that pigmentation within the first 6 months. So after
Okay.
6 months, they should be um, mostly black and white. So if you see a
Better
yellowish
contrasted.
calf, it means that
Hmm.
it's younger than 6 months.
Right. It was so
Interesting.
tiny. It
Should take
was so
Yes.
note.
tiny. It was. Um,
Take notes. You can write to me
Take notes.
at any moment.
I
Very, very nice.
what he
Very
said.
nice.
Kata, and could you go back? I have one more question. Do you
Yes.
think you can go back to another and another and another and another? It was in the type B, but another awesome the large farm. I know. There we go. So
Oh, okay. Here.
no, that's fine. It was about the small and the big ecotypes. So whenever we see a type B, which is at least is the one I've seen the I don't know the most. Could we tell between a type B and a type B1 and B2?
It's really difficult.
Okay.
It's really difficult to tell the difference if you are not a trained scientist. It's really difficult, even for me that I'm used to seeing Antarctic orcas, more or less. It's really, really difficult because they differ in size,
Mm-hmm.
in the height of the dorsal fin, and in the size of the eye patch. So it's really, really difficult to be able to tell the difference. But if you are seeing them in the Garlock Strait, chances are that they are the small type B, although I have seen the large form
Mm-hmm.
in the Garlock Strait.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really, really difficult for someone that it's doesn't have experience by differentiating both types of orcas. Yeah.
Mhm. So
So
it's
the
October 22, and everybody is arriving to Antarctica. The season is about to start, so we are thinking that these guys should be already there, right?
Yeah.
Hunting and
Yes.
waiting for all the penguins to arrive to their colonies.
Yes. Yes.
getting ready.
We did
They're
the
getting ready.
yeah.
Yes. I have seen the greatest activity of orcas I have seen for those that eat penguins. It's like the same as with leopard seals.
Right.
When the young penguins start to go in the water,
Mhm.
that's their moment because young penguins are inexperienced and they don't know
Of,
what's best.
of course.
And they are not used to avoiding this kind of predators. So that's like the best time. But yes, these type of orcas, especially both forms of the type B, they are all year round in Antarctica. Yeah, they just leave to change their skin and go back. But the rest of the year, they are around that area. So no matter when you go, you could see these type of orcas.
Awesome. I
Amazing.
am so looking forward to see them.
Yeah.
I was sorry I interrupted you. You were going to ask something, or maybe you forgot.
I was just it was related to the same question you made. If we, I mean, we're getting into Antarctica, we go mostly to the west part of the Antarctic Peninsula. So if you see orcas in the Gerlach Strait, it could be either of those two groups.
Yeah,
What if you see orcas on the Bransfield Strait and the South Shetland Islands and surrounding areas and not on the Gerlach Strait? Would you assume that it could be something different?
I have seen type A orcas and type B orcas in the Drake Passage. So no
So it could
distinction.
be,
Yeah,
yeah.
they could be around there because
Let's take,
the home range, the area where these animals move daily, it's
mhm,
huge. Imagine that their home
yeah,
ranges, it's super, super large. They
yeah.
move
So
more
the
than a ship can move.
yeah, for
So
sure.
they could be anywhere. Yeah.
So the best way to identify them is to take a lot of pictures. Take a lot of
Yes.
pictures, and then just scroll through your pictures with one of the specialists, and maybe you can get the species.
Yes, or maybe come back to this talk and compare your pictures with what I showed you.
Why not? Why
Exactly.
not?
And
That's a good
Gives
one.
me the
Good one.
perfect footnote to say that if we always post our videos and our webinars and so on in our YouTube channel, so you can go back to this amazing talk. That Kata, thank you so much. Thanks
My
so much
pleasure, guys.
for being with us today. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see you again to talk about any other cetacean that we know you love so much and you study them, right? I would like, just before you finish,
Yeah.
what are you researching now these days?
I study something that it's called ecomorphology, which means how the shape of the animals relates to their ecology. Yeah,
Mhm.
how the anatomy, the shape of the animal, both external but mostly internal, the bones of the animals, how they are related with where they live and how they feed. Yeah, because you can see in their bones if an animal, it's a coastal animal, if it lives close to the shore or far away from the shore. So I study that.
Nice, nice.
Okay.
And are you
I
doing
got
it on
lost
whales
after
or
echo.
dolphins? Oh, sorry.
I was lost after echo, but it's okay.
Echo.
I'll go back to the lecture later.
Oh, she was very clear. Are you working now on whales or on dolphins or anything in particular, or in general cetaceans?
Mainly, I study small toothed cetaceans. So, yeah, dolphins, porpoises, other type of toothed cetaceans that we call dolphins,
Mhm.
but they are not. And yes, mostly small toothed cetaceans. Yeah.
Great. That's the next thing that we're going to ask you about in the next
Perfect.
conversation.
Perfect.
Thank
Perfect.
you, Kata, so
Thank you,
much for
Kata.
joining us, and thank you the rest out there. And we hope to see you again next month.
Thank you for the invite,
Absolutely.
guys.
Thank you,
My
Kata, so much.
pleasure. So
Bye,
nice to see you
Agus.
again, Kata. See
Thank
you
Bye bye.
around.